Welcome back to r/Neighbors from Hell, where people share stories about their crazy neighbors, and if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our amazing community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Hope the Free Food Was Worth It. This happened about 2 years ago. I had just moved home from a big city to my home village because I was poor and had to move in with my parents. This also meant that I was no longer using my Deliveroo account because no one delivers to my village. No one. I was therefore surprised to get an email saying I had just ordered over 50 quid worth of Thai food to an address in Birmingham where I have never lived. The people using my account had failed to change their email address for confirmation before making their first order. They had however then realized their mistake and changed the account email so I could no longer log in. I contacted Deliveroo, got the money refunded, and they closed my account. Turns out I had used the same password for it as for a LinkedIn account from 6 years before, which had been hacked. This is why Just Eat is better, because you have to put in your 3-digit card code to make a purchase. Now I am a Taurus and a person with too much time on my hands at a low-grade admin job, so obviously I'm not letting this go. First things first, that address gets reported to their local police for card fraud. Police basically say they can do nothing. Fantastic. I also report them to the local council on the off chance that they are council renters. No shade, I am too. Because reports of criminal activity can pile up and make you lose your council spot. I also report them to the restaurant so that they know this address is linked to fraudulent purchases. No idea if any of that did anything, but it made me feel a bit better. Still does not feel like enough though, so I find a website where you can sign someone up to receive bunches of junk mail and input their address. I also find a website where you can order any university prospectus you want to be delivered to you, you know, those massive brochures that will fill up your recycling and just generally be annoying to hear thumping through your letterbox. I order all the ones I can. I use fake names like Anthony Thief and Arnold Fraudster on some of them for lulz. I also use mail merge to create a letter to everyone on their street with the details of what happened, titled A Thief Lives Near You. Because I have access to the company franking machine, this costs me nothing to do. I also send a copy to the thief with a printed picture of the Mulan meme that says, "Now all of China knows you're a douchebag." Lastly, I fill a box with coal from the shed, add a picture of Santa with "I hear you've been bad" written on it, and then post it to the thieves with only a single second-class stamp on it. This means they will get a slip in the post saying they have a parcel waiting at the post office with insufficient postage. It is around Christmas, so I'm pretty sure they will think it is a gift or something and go pick it up. This means they will have to go to the sorting office, wait in line, and pay around $2 to get a box of coal. I know they might have ordered the food while at a friend's house, but to be honest, I don't care. If they were friends with a thief, they either knew and deserved it, or didn't know and I let them know what garbage they were hanging around with. And guys, I gotta say, especially the part about the coal made for an absolutely perfect petty revenge. In addition, I'm curious, which one of the revenge subreddits is your favorite? In the past, I always loved pro-revenge and nuclear revenge, however nowadays the quality of the stories there did drop a little bit, and nowadays petty revenge is often of higher quality, at least in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. And the next one is an unnamed story about an awful neighbor from hell from Ask Reddit. It starts like this. When my wife and I moved into our house in the summer of 2019, the neighbors on either side of us warned us about the people renting the house directly behind ours. Apparently they had been known to cause trouble and blow things way out of proportion, bordering on paranoia of everyone around them. We kept it in mind but had no issues for the first 6 months or so after moving in. Their house sits on a hill behind ours and so overlooks the majority of our backyard due to the elevation change. Well, one night, morning technically, at about 3 AM we wake up to ring notifications from our phones showing video from our front doorbell. There is a man standing barefoot in a sleeveless shirt on our porch, pounding on our front door. We give it 2 to 3 minutes just watching him on the app, thinking maybe he's drunk and has the wrong house, essentially giving him the benefit of the doubt. But then we start to hear him say, "Come out, you coward, I'm gonna screw you up." And he leaves the porch and starts to head around the side of the house towards our backyard. Considering we had no idea who this was, my wife now immediately calls the police as I move out of our bedroom towards the external doors to look and listen for any attempt of home invasion. At this point, our neighbors directly behind us throw a huge spotlight into our backyard from theirs. We are thinking, okay, cool, they know something is up, and they are trying to help us out by shedding light on our backyard. The cops arrive several long minutes later and knock, and we explain the situation, and they head out back to look around and get the scoop from the neighbors with the spotlight. It turns out that the spotlight neighbor was the one on our porch. He had jumped our fence into our backyard and up into his yard and then threw the light on. He told the police that several nights prior I had let my puppy out into my own backyard in the middle of the night, and because I was in my boxers that I was trying to expose myself to his family. Because yes, they could look down on our entire yard from where theirs sits. He then followed this up to the police with evidence which consisted of videos he had taken through our windows of my wife and I inside of our own home, doing totally normal things like chores, watching TV, etc. Nothing inappropriate or scandalous, not that it would have mattered anyway, we were in our own home. Because of the elevation difference, if they went out of their way, they could technically slightly see through our closed blinds due to the angle, so they had been filming us for no reason at all and expected the police to see this as reasonable. The cops came back in and my wife was devastated. A huge breach of our privacy, of course, and totally unfounded accusations as we had never done anything to anger these people, we had not even met them. The police told us, "Just don't worry about it. If he tries something again, just give us a call," which was not the most comforting at the time. They moved out a few months later without any additional issues. My wife and I celebrated like it was a holiday when we saw the moving van in their driveway. And guys, if you ever had any neighbors from hell, then please feel free to post your own story on our own subreddit r/ripe stories on Reddit. And if the story is written well, there is a good chance that I might read it in a video. Thank you so much in advance. And the next one is entitled Mom Won't Watch Her Kids, They Climb into the Pasture with My Horses. So I have referenced this story a couple of times to people and decided that I would tell the full tale. I live in a rural neighborhood, everyone's got 3 to 8 acres, so we are all pretty spaced out. I live on 5 acres and my nearest neighbors are a sweet elderly couple about 1 acre from me. They are perfect, the husband does yard work as a hobby and his wife bakes. We have a nice agreement where if I need something big chainsawed, he takes the wood down and uses it for the fireplace, and in exchange I trade recipes and bake with his wife. Honestly, they just like the company. I own my own home, have 2 horses, a cat, and recently my mom has also moved in because she was in financial trouble. I'm happy to help as she is good company and I would do anything for her. And then everything changed when the pandemic attacked. So here is where things go south. My neighbor's son and his family, wife and 2 girls, 4 and 7, live in the nearest city and didn't feel safe. I don't blame them, and because my neighbors are saints, they opened their home and the brute moved right in. Up until this point, I was the youngest person in the neighborhood at 29, so having kids wander around is new for everyone. At first it was no big issue, they stayed inside, got settled, maybe they were good kids. Total long shot I know, but a girl can hope. So one morning I am letting my horses out into the front pasture, a Clydesdale and a Welsh pony, and I hear the most high-pitched squealing from next door. It was so shrill my Clydesdale second guessed going outside, but cautiously proceeded only to be met with more squeals. I pop my head out and the two girls are literally losing their minds, and I get it. The little white pony and the horse from Brave, but still, they are large animals, they don't know, so they should have the sense not to approach, right? Not a snowball chance in hell. These kids sprint to the fence shrieking, the pony runs around in panic, and the Clydesdale stands there with the same "what the hell is going on" look I've got on my face. Then the 4-year-old starts to go under the fence. Hell no! Don't you dare climb under that fence! I said firmly and admittedly kind of harsh, but I'll be damned if I have my horses mow over a kid. I walk over to them and they look like they are about to cry, but I explain firmly that they are big animals and could hurt them easily and to never go over or under the fence. They go home, I clean the stalls. An hour in, I hear someone banging on my home store and I can see through my barn's hatch door. My mom and the kid's mom are having a conversation. The kid's mom then storms down into the barn. I have never met this lady, but I know an entitled parent when I see one. Joy of joys. She starts going off on me.
How dare you make my kids cry? They just wanted to see the ponies.
But when she takes a breath, I get my point across. Ma'am, your youngest was crawling under the fence towards two large animals none of you know. That Clydesdale is a 2,000-pound draft horse. He can literally crush you, not feel it, and do permanent damage. The pony looks cute but needs an experienced hand as he is very untrustworthy, flighty, and has a tendency to bite. Your children are not allowed near them without my consent and heavy supervision, and never allowed in the pasture with them, do you understand? She then starts ranting about,
Well, if they are so dangerous, why do you have them? Are you even allowed to have them? I should call animal control.
That crap. Number 1, they are my personal horses and yes, I am allowed to have them. Number 2, your kids trespassed on my property, I'm trying to keep them safe. Number 3, this is not a petting zoo. She huffs off, I continue work. Later that evening when the husband gets home, I explained what happened. He is understandably alarmed and I explained how dangerous that situation is. He agrees. Not that my horses are aggressive, mind you, but it is inherently dangerous in general. You've got a 50 to 200 pound human versus an 800 to 2000 pound horse. If you don't know what you're doing, you can be seriously injured. Pure physics. So I am optimistic with his reaction, but no, he is often not home, so I stay cautious. Later in the next week, I am working from home and I suddenly hear screaming. Not excited screaming, scared little kids screaming. I rush outside and the 4-year-old is bawling in the middle of the pasture with the pony doing laps around the perimeter of the fence as my Clydesdale slowly approaches the little girl. The 7-year-old is crying outside the fence and calling for her mom, but clearly their mom is not watching them. The initial terror recedes a bit because my Clydesdale is essentially a golden retriever in a horse's body, the sweetest pushover in the world. He is gingerly approaching her in a slow, friendly way and being as non-threatening as he can. And with him so close, the pony won't rush them. He is probably about 3 steps from her, but I yell for him to halt. And like a good boy, he does. I make my way in with them and start asking the girls questions. Are you hurt? Being paramount, she's not, but she is clearly very scared, so I pick her up and walk out, making my Clydesdale heel to me just in case the pony gets a dumb idea. The mom is still nowhere in sight, so I take them to my neighbors. What proceeds is about 30 minutes of screaming and crying. The girl's mother was the one to open the door. She starts screaming at me and firing off questions before my neighbors intervene. I tell everyone exactly what happened and my elderly neighbors blew up at her, not me. They screamed at her for being so irresponsible and negligent, how they could have been hurt. The mom tried throwing blame on me, but they were not having it. My neighbors apologize profusely and I go about my day until the husband gets home. He came by and apologized too for his family's behavior and especially the behavior of his wife. I accepted it and said I understood. They are little girls. I too know the allure of magnificent fluffy horses. The mom was at fault for not watching the kids. I'm just glad everyone was okay. The girls were still really shook up, so I extended an olive branch because, well, I was an overexcited kid who liked horses once too, just with a horse mom who knew what she was doing. And I didn't want this to completely traumatize them from being around horses. So the next day I properly introduced them to my Clydesdale with him in his stall with the inside hatch open and the girls being supervised by their father and me. Safe in the barn, they loved it, Clydesdale loved the attention, everyone is happy, right? Well, except the mom, who took my olive branch as an offer to teach them horseback riding, give free lessons and other crap, but her husband shot it down hard and presumably so did my neighbors. Since then it's been quiet. I did however install a second electrical wire on the bottom, not just on the top, just in case. And yes, they did test it, the 7-year-old got zapped pretty good and got in trouble with her dad. Aside from that, there have been no incidents other than them wanting to pet them when I drop evening feed once in a while. Here's hoping it stays peaceful. But seriously, don't go up to animals you don't know. And guys, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to like the video if you want to support my channel. And if you want to go one step even further, I would really appreciate it if you could also post some star emojis in the comments. Thank you so much in advance, your daily support means the world to me and it really helps to boost my channel. And the next one is titled Low Energy Smartass vs Karen. The smartass in this post happens to be me. I didn't have a good night's sleep and was working on 3 hours of sleep in a 36-hour period of time. I was in no shape to be dealing with my Karen neighbor. For some reason she's had a problem with my dad and I since the day we moved into the neighborhood. He is disabled and I am his caretaker. I can understand with my dad, but I live by the motto, respect me and I will respect you. I have done absolutely nothing to this neighbor except say hi once or twice in passing. I've had water poured on me, insults thrown my way, and in the past few months is when the harassment has started. My dad had told me that we are getting some new furniture, so I was given the task of putting the old stuff in the trash corral. There's no problem with putting small furniture pieces in the corral and nobody raised a fuss over the neighbors putting full-blown dressers, mattresses and bed frames in there. Tired as hell, me just starts bringing out the chairs and putting them in the trash corral. As I am walking back to get another chair from my porch, I hear a loud voice.
You are not supposed to put them in there. You called someone to pick those up.
I just look at Karen with tired eyes. Lady, I was just told to put them there. Karen stands up from her chair and glares.
Not by the manager. I'm calling the manager right now.
And she goes inside to get her phone. Too tired for conflict, I mumble, I seriously don't get paid enough to deal with this, and bring the chairs back to my porch. I message a few friends and talk to them, and a flicker of a light bulb goes through my slow mind. They cannot call me out if I take them apart. So I get some tools and spend the next 3 hours taking apart chairs until they are nothing but the wooden planks. I take the planks to the trash and Karen glares at me with a sour face. The petty revenge was short-lived as Karen's been recording me and my dad every time we are outside and comments about us negatively. I eventually had to go inside and take my anxiety/PTSD medications from how badly this affected me. And Ripe Stars, sadly we have reached the end of the video. However, if you cannot get enough of my content, then I would highly suggest you to check out my binge watch playlist, which you will see at the corner of the screen. If you click on that playlist, you will find hours of ripe content, and also by watching this playlist you will support my channel. This is due to the fact that YouTube likes when users stay on one person's channel and watch several videos in a row. In addition, you can also check out my Patreon at patreon.com/ripeyoutube for more exclusive Reddit videos. Prices start at $3 a month, but please don't feel pressured into giving me money or anything. It is already enough for you to watch my videos daily. Thank you so much for your amazing daily support, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.